This week's episode of Finding Demo Surf Fishing is sponsored by The Sinker Guy. Sinker Guy makes great Sputnik sinkers and also a whole bunch of other gear. And if you haven't checked it out, you need to head on over there to thesinkerguy.com. He's on Facebook, a whole bunch of other places. And if you want some other fishing education, you need to head over to YouTube and take a look at The Sinker Guy. So thanks always, Chip, for taking care of us on the show. I hope you all are ready for a good episode. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another week of Finding Demo Surf Fishing. This week, though, we got something new for you, and we haven't had this yet, and it's going to be great. Rods and reels. We all use them. We love them. We need all that good stuff, right? Well, what if you needed a custom set? Who do you go to? I mean, there's so many out there, right? Well, this week, we're going to actually be talking to one of the custom rod and reel upgrade maker here in the area. So strap in. It's going to be great. You're listening to Finding Demo Surf Fishing. Oh, yeah, it's a new week, baby. All right, new episodes coming at you. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This week we're talking about rods and reels, and we're talking to Mr. Mike Lorusso. So, Mike, thanks, buddy, for coming on the show. It's going to be a good one. I'm excited, man.
Yeah, I'm excited, too. Thank you for having me, Brian.
Oh, thank you for agreeing. I know it's horrible to say that.
No problem at all. No problem.
So, Mike, where are you out of?
I am based out of Palm Bay.
Okay.
So that's the central east coast of Florida, obviously.
All right. And you ship all throughout worldwide country, the whole gambit, right?
I mean, to be honest, I've never shipped worldwide yet, but nationwide, yes, I have done, multiple different size lengths and everything so far. So yeah.
Nice, man. All right, so tell me about this. Let's just get right into this. It's going to be fun. So tell me about your business. Tell me all about it. What you got?
So basically, I used to, back in the day, since I was, a very young man, born basically with a fishing rod in my hand. Over the years, the skill set has, getting better and better. And the tackle, I felt, wasn't really getting up to par. So about 6 or 7 years ago, I started kind of tinkering.
Oh, your signal's getting
personal stuff.
Mike, your signal's getting rough, man. You're getting digital on me.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. As you all know, I don't edit the show, so you're all gonna have to live with that one. Yeah, it's clear, man. Go on. Yeah, you're good. Go for it.
All right, should be good now. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So I don't know what you guys heard, but basically I was saying back in the day, about 6 or 7 years ago, I was kind of tinkering around, working on my rods, kind of trying to fine-tune things until I realized, you know what, this might be a thing. So that kind of just took off with me. It started with family and friends, and I started getting more and more requests on these custom rods, and especially up from in New York area, it was mainly surf rods. So, and then from there, I went to all different ventures of boat rods and spiral wraps and conventional and everything else. So everything kind of just fell into place. But there is definitely a market and a need for a custom rod if that's what you're looking for, and it'll definitely be worthwhile getting one according to what your specific needs are, rather than going and just buying one off the shelf. So
right.
That's basically a quick general rundown, without getting into too much detail.
Hey, man, sometimes that's the best way you can go is a little bit of quickness. Let's talk about the custom rod thing. So it's not just like, a custom rod is not this really difficult process. A custom rod is actually pretty simple. It's just a matter of communication, right?
It's a lot of communication, and if you think about it, it is a simple, idea to build a rod, but there's so many variable details in building a rod that people have no idea about, that it's super time consuming, and there is, a lot of skill in there involved, time and labor. So even though, components is also a big thing, you want high quality or mid quality or whatever it is, the labor is still going to be there, and the quality of craftsmanship is still going to be there, regardless of the component quality,
So if I'm going to ask for a custom rod, what are some of the questions you're going to ask me to kind of get an idea of what I'm looking for?
Number one question is, what are you going to be using this rod for? And then once you tell me that, I'll depending on what you tell me, I'll say, okay, well, what ounce rating are you going to be? Let's say if you're casting, you're looking for a certain rating on the ounce. I don't really go too much by line, to be honest, because the line rating on rods is a little off. Whereas the lure rating matters more, even if you were to buy a stock rod or whatever. And then from there, that goes by the company blank name. If you want like a, high-end name brand, then you're going to pay a little bit more. But basically, there's going to be a top three questions. What are you using it for? What ounce rating? And what style? If you want either like casting or conventional for a boat or spinning. So those are the three main things. And then from there, I'll give you kind of different options on which way to go.
Okay, makes sense. So why is a custom rod such a big deal? Why do you think, like, I guess this is a two-part question. Why is it a big deal, and why do you think so many people shy away from it?
People probably shy away from it because of the cost. The big deal about a custom rod is that you could tailor that rod and have that rod built exactly the way you want, exactly the way you want it to feel and look. Colors is a big thing. A lot of people build rods to make it stand out, for the pizzazz factor. And unfortunately, because you're individualizing components, these individualized components, they cost money, even just by itself without even adding, let's say, my time and labor, So it's the cost aspect that keeps people away more so. But my thing is to build rods that are affordable with quality. And I truly stick to that. And, I'll back it and guarantee it, So component-wise, if it breaks, if it snaps, message me back and I'll take care of it.
All right, because you're going to talk about it, so that you want to know what's going on with the gear, so that makes total sense. That's awesome that you do that, man.
Right. It's nice to have that feedback. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Call it, or how long does it take from customer approval? We've already been talking. Hey, this is the rod I want. This is the speed I want. These are the colors. All this. So after we ink the deal, everything's good to go. What do you say the normal build time of, say, let's just go with a surf rod. We'll keep it simple. What does it take from customer approval to completion for a surf rod?
The way things are at this current state, I would say it's probably going to be about a month, which is a lot longer than what it used to be for me. I would say it was maybe before COVID, about 2 weeks. So now because this whole pandemic we're going through, it's probably double that time. If I happen to have components, which I do carry, rod blanks of different lengths, even if it's a surf rod, there's all different aspects to them, and ratings. And I have, components that could fit and would work for what they were looking for. We're talking, maybe 5 days from,
Wow.
Deposit to they can come and pick it up.
Man, that's a lot faster than I thought it would be.
Yeah, in certain cases it could be quicker, but sometimes I like to let the rod sit and kind of fully cure before they come pick it up. This way they might even just go grab it and fish it the very minute they leave here. So I need that rod to be fully cured, 100% ready to go.
Nice.
But in some instances it could be rushed, even as quick as, maybe 3 days,
Wow. But, you obviously know your craft, so you'll know, hey, look, yeah, I'm good on this. I can do these turnarounds like this. So you're already in a good position there. And it sounds like you're the kind of guy that's going to explain that all the way through. So even better, way to go.
Right. Right.
What's your favorite thing about making these rods?
To be honest, it is almost like a form of therapy for me. As weird as that sounds.
Oh, it doesn't sound weird at all. Not even a little.
It's a form. Yeah, maybe some people are in it for the money, which obviously the money is a bonus, but, I don't try to kill people on prices, and it's a therapy and it's also an art form. I take pride in my work and, otherwise I wouldn't be taking pictures of every single build I do and posting it, on social media,
Yeah. So, and I can't. So. That right there is just, I don't know. I get it. If you got something you love, it's not work. And if it brings you to your place of happy, then
Right.
it's better every day.
Right.
That's phenomenal,
Right.
man. What would Mike Lorusso's dream rod? What would it be?
My dream rod. That is a tough question because there's so many aspects to it.
Of course, man.
Um, I mean, put it this way. I mean, I've built hundreds of rods by now, and yeah, maybe a fraction of them are mine. And I have three main rods, and they're pretty much all three surf rods. And a smaller rod could double for another meaning, for another use, like off of a boat or a pier or whatever else. But for me, that's a tough question to answer because as a rod builder, I could build my dream rod at any point. I think to ask that question to a customer or like to take like a little poll for people, I think that would be a better suited question for the audience.
All right. I mean, I'll put it out there
Because
once we post this.
yeah, because I'd be very curious too.
All right, I'm marking it down, dude. So once yours gets done, I'm sending a question out right after it, wherever I can post. Yeah, I want to know what people's dream rods are because I know everybody's got different flavors. I mean, I've got
Right.
I go out with my Ninja Dagger. I go out with an Achios FX, my Longitude, Okumo. I got a whole gambit of different rods. I'm one of those weird guys that has different rods, but I know how all of my rods react and operate. So I know for me,
Right.
but I can imagine, somebody, I know several of our fellow anglers that look, these are all the rods. They're exactly the same rod, the same reel, the same line. Everything's 100% the same. And there's nothing wrong with
Right.
that. It's brilliant. But yeah, I'd love to hear what
Right.
some people would be like, yes, I need that in my life.
Right. Right. I mean, there's a couple builds that I have coming up probably within the next month that is going to be, I mean, it's going to be something that you've never seen anything put on a rod. I mean, it is way out there. So definitely be on the lookout for that. It's in the works. It's probably going to be completed within the next 2 weeks. So that's going to be very interesting. But basically a rod, no matter what it is, the rod has a function. So for even anybody, I mean, a dream rod for somebody might be certain colors, certain, power or sentimental value as far as, let's say, being like a show rod and just basically being mounted on a mount in their house, basically, and not being used. So that's a very broad kind of answer that I really can't answer, to be honest.
Hey, it's all good, man. I mean, you made some excellent points, but the best part I can give you too is your episode's actually dropping in, I believe it's 2, maybe 3 weeks, but that's perfect. So by the time this episode drops, everybody's going to see like, hey, wait, what's he talking about? And you can go right over and see it. So now you and I are both on the time crunch.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's move into just one more big one here, and then I want to ask you about fishing. Tell us about the reel upgrades, because I know you do both that too.
Right. The reel upgrades are mainly what I would say the two biggest flaws in stock reels are the carbon fiber drag washers. But now more and more of these manufacturers are installing them new with the newer reels, where if you're not familiar, when that line peels out and there's a certain material inside that drag washer stack, because of that friction of that spool going out so fast, that deteriorates over time if it's the low-end, cheapy quality stuff. So I'll go in there and I'll upgrade that to the carbon fiber, which will last, 20 times longer and give you more drag output, smoothness, and everything. So that's one aspect. That's a big one to it. The other biggest one is the power knobs. I specifically specialize in all different size power knobs, colors, variations to fit pretty much 95% of reels out there. And I have them custom ordered for me, custom made, to where if you're looking for a certain size for a certain reel, if I don't have it, I could always have it ordered to what you're looking for. And I'm a big believer in the EVA power knobs over the aluminum metal knobs for two reasons. The aluminum metal knobs, even though they're great, I know Gomex is a big brand out there that everybody knows about. They're very slippery once they get wet on your hand. You have bait or slime or whatever. You're washing your hands with salt water. They slip on the knobs. whereas the EVA foam knobs that I offer do not. You know, you have a nice firm grip on there. It's a little squishy, so you have a little give to it, but it's a durable, you know, foam that's basically on the same order as the foam that rods are built, you know, with. So that's, like I said, that's another big one. So then as far as the other aspect, there's no shrinkage or expanding with the weather, meaning if that aluminum knob stands in the sun all day long, it's going to get hot and expand, and it might not spin as freely and work as properly as, let's say, one of the foam ones that I offer. Whereas it goes on the other spectrum, if you're up north in a colder climate, that metal's going to shrink. Once again, it might not, you know, work that. It might work, but not smooth as it should be. And also, you're going to feel that cold on your hands, especially the Northeast guys with the big stripers where, you know, I came from in New York. So that's the two main things as far as the real upgrades. The other thing could be like the bearings on the inside. That's really not too much of a big deal, to be honest, just because a regular stock bearing in a reel is more than fine. You don't really have to go in there, but I do offer them. There's different grades of bearings to make it a little bit smoother, and that's probably like the last thing that people do. But the two main ones are the power knobs and also the drag upgrades.
Okay, makes a lot of sense for those especially. So let's talk about your fishing. What do you enjoy most about surf fishing?
Oh man, I mean, you throw that rod out there, anything can bite that line. You just never know.
Yeah, buddy.
You know, and that's what keeps us going back. I mean, you lose a big fish, and I don't care what rig it was or whatever it was, you saw it or not, that makes you want to go back, you know. And that beach with that clean water, when it's a beautiful day, even if it's a little rough or whatever, like I said, you just never know what you're going to hook into out there. And that the variety of species that you can get on the beach, that's where it's at for me.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, you hit my heart on that one because it's true. You never know what you're going to catch a pomp. Is it going to be a whiting? Is it going to be a Spanish? Ooh, or maybe it's a black drum. Oh, maybe it's a blue. You never know. It's such a great variety.
You never know. Yeah, I mean, there's such a variety in species down here in Florida. It's unbelievable. I mean, you know, back in New York, you only looking like maybe, I don't know, 3 to 4 species that you might be catching on a certain, particular bait.
Yeah, especially.
Whereas here, I mean, right. I mean, here, you're probably looking at, on a piece of shrimp. I mean, you can catch everything on a piece of shrimp.
Yeah, everything loves shrimp here. That's for sure.
So, yeah.
That's good stuff. All right, so what brought you to the surf?
What brought me to the surf? That is a good question. It probably even started back even when I was little. I mean, the piers was where it's at. And then, like I said, the skill set kind of got better, as I got older and everything. Everybody, I feel like everybody kind of eventually ventures over to the surf, but some guys might not like it. Some guys love it, So I happen to be one of those that, I love it. The only thing I don't love, to be honest, is the sand.
Yeah.
The sand is a killer,
Fair.
But other than that, I mean, I think the draw of the surf or the beach to anybody, I mean, even if you're a sunbather or a swimmer, that's where you want to be. You don't want to be swimming in, the river or the inside, intercoastal water. Everybody wants to go to the beach, the ocean, the surf,
Absolutely. Yeah, man.
So
I get that. I mean, yeah, I don't think I could say a word about that because that's just the truth. You gave me a thought I never even thought of because, yeah, everyone wants to go to the beach. I mean, why? It's a perfect way to get your whole family out there, so it's perfect.
Right. Yeah, even if, sometimes if you don't have expectations, you throw a rod out there anyway, whether that rod gets hit or not, like you said, you could it's something you could take the family or relatives or vacationers or visitors that you're having down here because Florida's pretty much all year round, except for right now where it's pretty cold outside for us Floridians.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that's like the final destination. Now you have also obviously the boating. That's a whole different world though, So for me, the surf is like the pinnacle of land-based fishing.
Oh yeah, yeah. Claimed. I love it. We're doing that. It is now pinnacle is now the word for me for that. I love it. So,
pinnacle. Yeah.
what do you think? What do you think the draw is for so many people to come surf fishing? What do you feel that is?
They want that big fish, and I think they see, they see, I don't even know, Jaws or these other movies or whatever. Forget about the endless YouTube videos, but they want to see a big fish being caught out of that ocean. I mean, most of the times when I hook any kind of big fish off the beach, I always have a crowd behind me.
Yeah.
So it draws some kind of attention, whether you're a fishing person or not. Women too. So I think that's what it is. I think it's the fact of catching the monster out there. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh man.
If I had to guess.
Is it really? I mean, I don't know if there's anything better like the days where you're pulling in for us up here, especially, the big monsters or sharks, obviously, if you're shark fishing, but, like a monster black drum, 38, 39-inch black drum or a 40, 42-inch red drum, just pulling in and people are like, what is that? I'm like, it's just a fish. Yeah, this is Monday. This is what we do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
People are just like, oh man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I could see that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And people, I mean, I guess it's a big vacation spot down here, but they ask, oh, what is that? I mean, people have no clue. So I mean, even let's say a 10-pound fish for us, which might not seem that big as far as let's say a black drum, because they get to, God knows, I don't even know. I think they get to like 60, maybe even more pounds. That's a huge fish for the average person, even like a 5-pound fish. So it's very highly entertaining, for anybody.
Yeah, and it's funny when I talk to my family back in New England. We start talking about. I think I caught a 19-inch bluefish, and I knew as soon as I posted it, one of my family members was like, 19, really? That little guy? It's like, look, I know you get giant fish up there. Leave us alone. A 19's a good one for down here. But we don't have those stripers like they do up there. You start talking into the interesting different fish species. You want to get into really big fish? Fine, let's get in the boat. We'll go after some monster fish. You want to see that? We've got that covered.
Oh yeah. Right. Yes, exactly.
So do you have a favorite setup when you go out? I mean, do you have a rod and reel or setup that you really like, or rigs and bait? How do you like to be set?
I guess you can classify it as two different things. As far you're talking about the surf mainly, or you're talking about
in the surf.
In the surf. Oh, okay, yeah. So for me, if I were to take one rod or length too, I would say a 10-foot rod. That 10-foot rod will do 95% of what you want to do, unless you're talking like little half-ounce pompano jigs. Then that's way overkill. Then you got to go with a smaller whippier rod. But for me, a 10-foot rod, it would be a good recommendation, even if somebody were to come up to me and say, okay, I need a beach rod. What do you recommend? It all just depends. But for me, I'm starting getting back into the whole bait thing. I know the shrimp is big down here, even live shrimp. I'm particularly not a fan of that. So me, I'll go and I'm thinking a chunk of mullet. I'll go either buy or net my own mullet, whether they're finger mullet or like the bigger, I don't know what they call like the roe mullet or something, or the big ones.
Yeah.
And for me, a chunk of mullet, that's a very versatile bait too. So a 10-foot rod with some kind of bait. If you wanted to if you're talking like only lures, I mean, if I were to choose, let's say, one lure for the surf, I would probably say like a spoon, maybe a 1 and a 2 ounce spoon. This way you get different casting distance on that. That's a very versatile lure to kind of increase your odds to catch multiple species. And you could probably even throw that same spoon on a 10-foot rod too.
Yeah. I think the spoon is an underrated tool for the surf anyway. I know a lot of my friends use it, and not as much as I would expect, but I think it's a really versatile monster to get out there and get fish.
Oh yeah, it is. I agree, and especially because I know these the newer generations and everything now. These companies they have the soft plastic, almost like the hoagie style, or any kind of swim bait. The problem that I'm finding is that even though majority of the time it'll catch a bigger style fish, you're getting cut off by the Spanish mackerel, the tails of getting bit off, or a bluefish, and there goes that lure. That's it. That you got to change it out. You got to switch it. Whereas that metal, it's over and over and over. Now you're probably not going to catch a pompano. So if pompano is your thing, that might not be the most versatile lure. Whereas you might want to go to those, I think they call them the goofy jigs, I believe.
Yeah, goofy, silly, banana. So they got a bunch of different names. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So that might be a more versatile lure if you're more like a pompano style fishing, which, can catch multiple species too, but you're probably going to get broke off a lot of times with those because the action, if it's something toothy, comes and hits it. So it just depends on the person, the person and what they're after. So that's also kind of a not a generic, answer, but it's to make it as quick as possible, for what they're looking for. There could be kind of three different options, to kind of narrow it down.
Wow, those are great options. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's 25 minutes. That means you should be doing a bait check. If you haven't checked your bait yet, now would be an opportune time. I know it's winter, but whenever you're listening to this, 25 minutes is always a good time to check your bait. So go do that. Pause this, come back. We're going to be right here. All right, so sorry, I always got to do that now. So last question, well, I guess last two questions. What is something you wish people that were going to start surf fishing would do for the first time before they ever went out?
Be prepared. Especially down here in Florida, the weather is pretty good a lot of times of the year, especially with that sun always beating down on you. Definitely be prepared with a cooler as far as, being hydrated, and maybe a little snack or two or something, and then definitely the sunscreen. I know that could get a little underrated, even myself. I tend to sometimes not, put it on, but I would say that's pretty up there as far as making a day of it or something. Go visit your local, bait and tackle shop and kind of get a little more information. They'll kind of steer you in the right direction. You know, it just depends what you want to do too. It just, if you're going by yourself, with the family or friends, or if you're just kind of looking to hang out and just kind of throw a rod just in case. I mean, you can kind of do something kind of general. So, it just depends. Everybody has their own, purpose of going to the surf and, what they're going to do over there.
That's good stuff, man. That's really good. So now we're coming up on the end here. We definitely have hit some really good stuff. How do people get in touch with you to talk to you about custom rods?
They can go visit my Facebook page, ML Custom Rods and Real Upgrades. There, they could message me through that that page, or my actual cell phone number is on there. My email is on there. With the cell phone, you can call me, you could text me. Like I said, you can message me through that page. I pretty much respond most of the time within like 30 minutes. So whether it's a text message, a message, or a call, if I wind up not answering the call, leave a message, just a quick, little thing, what you're looking for, whatever, and then I'll get back to you as quick as I can. Usually that's probably within the hour, depending on the day and, my schedule and everything. But, yeah, I mean, there's multiple ways of contacting me.
Perfect.
Instagram, that's another one. I know I'm not too familiar with Instagram. I know the newer, younger generation is all into that, so I'm still learning about the Instagram stuff, but my contact information is also on there, I believe, too.
Awesome. Well, seriously, Mike, thanks so much for coming on, giving us some good education about custom rods, and hopefully, people will reach out to you soon, man. And I look forward to talking to you next time. I know we'll have some more stuff to talk about in the future.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I look forward to being on there again. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, buddy. All right. Thanks again. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So as you saw there, we had a great conversation with Mike. If you're looking for a custom rod, perfect opportunity to reach out to somebody to get an idea of what you're looking at. If you got that idea, call Mike. Say, hey, look, this is what I'm looking at. Let's build something. And it's that opportune time. Never a bad one there. So appreciate you coming back for another week, another good episode. Just stick around. We're going to have more always every week. Every Friday is the drop. Hopefully you're enjoying it. If you've got somebody you think would be good for the show, send me a message on Finding Demo Surf Fishing on Facebook. I will happily get in touch with that person as best I can. And if you've got something you want to talk to me about on there, hey, drop me a message. I'm actually really responsive. I happily will talk to you all about just about anything. So thanks a lot for sticking around. I appreciate you, and we'll see you next time on Finding Demo Surf Fishing. Take care, everybody. We'll see you.